Tired of being the invisible man. The invisible man. Oh, the invisible man.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Invisible Man. Ryan Janz can't be here today. He's got other things going on. My name is Mark David Stallard, and the lovely lady on my right is Carrie LUCE Forsyth, LUCE from Load. Hi, LUCE. How you doing?
How are you?
Pretty good. It's like, you know what, we were joking with Phil and Ryan, actually, it was a couple of days ago, that you are pretty much the de facto host now, right? It's like you've been on the show so many times now.
Well, it's like we used to be like the co-host all the time for the late night show. David Letterman, I'm going for that. I want to be the regular co-host.
Yeah, well, and it was too. It was a last minute. I just got back from England on Tuesday. Oh, let's do a show, and it was let's who are going to invite? We have to have LUCE on again, and yeah, so sure enough. So it's going to be a bit of a fun show, a little less structured than the other shows where you've been guest of honor. Phil P by everyone is going to be joining us. What? Sorry?
It's LUCE.
LUCE. Yes, indeed. It'll be LUCE. Very, very. That's my notes. There we go. Anyhow, you can't see them right. So we've actually been. I think it was a few weeks ago. Since we last spoke. Yeah, and I've noticed online that you've got a couple of, at least one project coming up for something called the Cranky Festival. And tell us all your posts.
November 8th to 10th.
Yeah.
It's a yearly festival here in Manitoba, started by Mitch Podolak, who is also the founder of the Folk Festival and many CBC radio programs and just many folk roots oriented programs. So, that's great. Yeah. So Load is playing some folk versions of a lot of our stuff, and I'm actually going to be giving a essential oil and a medicinal plant workshop at this festival as well.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's November 8th to 10th, but
at different times for the music, right?
Right now. I don't know if you can tell I'm walking, but here I just wanted to show you the beautiful students in the apothecary.
Hello, everyone.
Great medicinal plant work and studying to help their families and generations.
Y'all smoking weed in there?
There's no smoking weed right now.
Oh, okay.
That's Cannabis Castle. That's
right
not
now.
in Broken Apothecary. They do support each other, but you guys are naughty. You heard all the ladies laughing.
Well, is it laughing or are they just giggling with glee?
I'm going to go upstairs in Cannabis Castle, and we can talk about that later. But I'm renowned in my field for medicinal plants. I have studied for over 30 years, and I have the largest apothecary in North America that supplies essential oils and herbs to people, especially cannabis extracts and things too like that. So we like to help people here.
Indeed, that's a noble effort there. Actually, when I first heard about the Cranky Festival, which I think was literally a few days ago, you've been posting online. Now this is actually this year it is dedicated to Mitch, and I didn't get his name. One of the founders of the Winnipeg Folk Festival.
Mitch Podolak. The festival is a celebration of his life and accomplishments and achievements, and it's something he started before he passed away. And he passed away in what most people think are kind of unfortunate circumstances. He had an injury, and it led to further complications in the hospital because of understaffing and problems in our medical system. He had a burst bowel, and nobody knew about it, and he really suffered. He suffered a lot in the end of his life, and for all the amazing things that he's done in this world, it just didn't seem a fitting end. So we really want to just take Mitch's work further and get back to our roots and celebrate in the Cranky Festival way. So Load is really happy to be there and a part of it.
Nice. When was Load playing again? You did say.
You know what? I don't know if we're.
Oh,
I don't know if
you didn't
we're.
say.
I don't know. We're. I don't know.
Well,
It's about the best I can tell you.
I think I did have the page open, and I think I closed it. So we'll look at that
Yeah,
later.
you know, I don't even. If the schedule is out, I haven't seen the exact schedule, so sorry for being
I guess
sketchy.
we're a month or so away.
Okay.
It'll be on the November 8th, 9th, or 10th. I think we can be pretty certain on that.
That's right. It'll be the 8th or the 9th.
Okay, but not the 10th. All right. Okay. Sounds good.
Of course, that's when it'll be. But
Oh, sorry. What was that?
I said that'll probably be when it'll end up being.
Probably now, right?
Yeah.
Now, actually, this was being run by Home Routes or Home Routes.
Yeah, and Home Routes is one of the radio programs that Leonard started.
Yeah. Now, they're involved with helping people set up home concerts and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I was kind of looking at this morning and like, I think I've gone through their site several times looking for hints and tips on house concerts and stuff. Yeah, so I did my first one, my first house concert actually just last week before last, which was a lot of fun. Anyway,
So
we'll talk about that later.
Was that overseas or was that here?
Yeah, that was in England. Yeah, it was basically
that's great.
family and friends. Actually, yeah. Yeah, it was basically family and friends. So I didn't make much, if any, money on it. There we go. But it was a lot of fun. The first time I'd done it, and it was probably one of the easiest audiences because I could actually pick on them. So we set up in the backyard, and it was a blisteringly hot day. It was mid-20s. That's centigrade there for you, Phil. You have to do the translation. And it was blisteringly hot, and I wasn't going to go and in front of everyone wiggling with my guitar, with my shorts on. So I had jeans, black jeans, which is all I took with me, and a t-shirt, and I refused to put my jacket on, and I ended up being about 20 feet away. I went about 20 feet away from them because we were in the backyard, so I could be under a shadow of a tree. And even then, it was you could kind of see it dripping off, but it was a lot of fun. As usual, I modified my set as I played it, really seeing how people were reacting. But it was a lot of fun. I could actually pick up people by name, and I knew exactly who they were. And there's a lot, and you can say, "Hey, stop talking," or I'd have a story about someone that I could say. It was actually. I definitely am keen to do those again. Those house concerts, and I really like those.
Yeah, well, we have a beautiful facility here at the castle. We do home concerts and special filmings and things. It's just, sometimes you get the right location and it's awesome. And it's nice to be in an intimate surroundings. You don't always have to be in a bar setting. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the intimate settings more, I think, for the most part. And I still would like to play the MTS Centre to a crowded room.
Yes, okay, well, we will. Because, and speaking of that, the documentary Canadian Homegrown that featured Load in it that came out this summer has just been picked up by Shaw Television.
Oh, excellent.
And I think they're going to making it into a series. So our show was the pilot.
Excellent. So Ken Loxton, who was the director, is actually going to be on our show in a couple of weeks. He's agreed to be on. So that's the 12th for everyone.
Yeah, that's good.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
That's great. I'll be sure to I'll be around for that.
Yeah, that'll be good. And we'll, it's going to be the first time we've had a director because we're not just, the Invisible Man's not just about promoting musicians, but we're interested in the entire music industry and anything that helps the independent music industry.
And that,
we want to push, right?
That's like, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being on the show. Wouldn't be the same without you. With our new co-host. Actually,
you can get away now. That's it.
It just happened.
She's in now, you guys. She's in.
I'm the
I think from that first time we met, I think we knew we were going to be working. We knew we were going to be working on lots of things together. I think fairly soon, didn't we?
Yeah, that's.
Which is good.
We're really excited.
Yeah,
we're very excited about our new show that's coming up. That. Mm-hmm. Next week is I think our final session meeting for the Cannabis Castle. I don't know if it's going to be the Canadian Cannabis Castle or the Cannabis Castle.
Well, you want to refresh my memory?
Actually, before you go on, let's just a quick shout out to a couple of viewers here. So we got Peggy Kim has joined us in Canada, she says, and Catherine McGoy from Fleetwood in England has joined us. So hi guys, thanks so much for joining us. Anyhow, so back to the conversation.
Okay, LUCE, can you explain to me that cannabis thing? I caught a little bit of it, but I don't know the whole thing. So
we are starting a variety show it's an internet variety show that involves local musicians and cooking whole food, organic, and vegan food combos with specialty chefs who create creations with cannabis-infused oils, butters, cannabis right into food. There's different types of things. So you may have seen some cooking shows on television or on the internet right now where they have chefs and people tasting and discussing whether they like the flavor and how they feel afterwards. And so we want to do that, but we want to take it just maybe one step further. The musicians or the panel people that we've invited are all local musicians, and they will be required to come together at the end of the show and to work out a cover tune of the audience's choice.
Oh, okay.
While maybe under the influence of delicious edibles. So we think it's going to be pretty funny, and we think it's actually very inspirational and creative, but we'll see. It could all fall apart. And that might be fun.
Now, are you doing this on Facebook Live or?
Yeah, there's going to be a few formats for it, and that's what we're going to be working out this week. And we believe the Invisible Man is going to be a big part of that, and Ken Loxton is a part of that. And we will. We've got some bloggers and some other people involved, and we'll be moving just forward as we can. So next month we start. By the end of the month, we will be filming, and we have a really neat group of musicians that are up for the challenge, and I think it'll be funny. And also, if you've been to the castle, we have some interesting instruments here. Like we have a big pump organ, and Kyle, the guitar player for Load, can play it. And so he even can play the Friendly Giant theme song, different things. So we really hope to have put a little variety side to it and show some very wacky retro things that inspire us and make us laugh if we're a little bit high on edibles too. Life should be good.
When are you going to be doing these shows?
We start filming like maybe 3 weeks.
Oh, cool.
And they're here, of course, at the castle.
You should send me an MP3 promotional thing so I could run it on the show.
We will. We're just getting it all together. So I promise we will. We put our call out. We have most of our staff, and everything's going to be pretty cool. I think we're gonna shoot a pilot and a few follow up and go from there. So we'll see what happens.
Right on.
It's gonna be fun.
Maybe a really cool out of it, like the Cannabis Castle song. You never know.
Well, could be good.
There's CCR, but this will be CCS.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Speaking of such, I'm going to step out. I'm going to go downstairs to the garage, and I'll be back in a bit.
Oh.
I'm listening, though, so don't talk about me.
You can't get through the show. You're funny.
Back in a bit.
Back cannabis.
Phil's on a tight schedule.
Okay,
so Mark.
Yes.
Tell me about England. You were in England.
Yeah.
You just got back. I just got back from Mexico. So I don't think the weather was the same.
No, it was actually quite nice, actually. It hardly rained at all. Although I have been told that the weather has been changing and it's not been as wet over on that side of the pond. Recent years, yeah.
Wouldn't that be special?
Mm-hmm. And of course...
That's a part of climate change that I love. We're not going to get political about climate change, but what we are going to say is that the little bit of science that we can all grasp, we know that since like 2012, the Earth has shifted on its axis a few degrees. And so that new polarity and that new shift has got to change the weather patterns by a few, latitude and longitude across the globe. Yeah. So it's not surprising that this may be happening. And what we should really be looking at is like, how do we capitalize, and how do areas that maybe couldn't grow now, areas that used to grow something can grow something else. The earth has got a beautiful way to balance itself, and we poison it and we pollute it and we disrespect it in so many places that maybe it just had to shift so that other areas would get a chance to be destroyed and the other areas would get a chance to be rejuvenated. Like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Actually, the way I look at it too is whether you believe the science or not, polluting our environment has got to be bad, and regardless of what the outcome is, nothing's going to come good of putting your garbage into the atmosphere. I've always kind of looked at that as well. I was like, you know,
it is. It's just a no-brainer. I don't even know why we have to discuss it or even quantify it. You know, it's like we should stop polluting, and we should accept that the earth maybe changes in ways over time and in cycles that we should now start anticipating. And as we see these changes, instead of panicking, and like, if we're going to collect money, if we're going to have taxes, like, let's be proactive about it. Let's not bullshit people. Let's like look at the globe. Let's look at the whole hierarchy of farming. Let's look at all the things that this affects and make some rational decisions, you know, choices. But
I mean, there's no doubt things are changing. And again, really, this has become politicized, but this isn't a political topic. This is
exactly. It's not even political. It's more like astrology and astronomy and the planets and Earth and what we're doing and response, you know, like, I don't know. And then some of it is out of our control completely.
It's just basic housekeeping, right?
Yeah. I think the Earth should do some housekeeping. It needs to kick the shit out of a few areas, you know, and that's what's happening, because that's what happens. You abuse anything, right? You abuse a person, they fight back. You abuse the Earth, it fights back, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so unusual. When I was preparing to go, I was thinking it was going to be raining the whole time. You know, my experience from 30 years ago, it rained all winter, and you would have, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks of rain, like non-stop. Apparently, that doesn't happen anymore.
I'm from British Columbia. I'm from Vancouver and Vancouver Island, so I'd be interested to know if people report that.
Yeah.
There.
So it was. So it was very, very similar weather to that we were having back home. And by the way, everyone, when I say back home, I mean here in Winnipeg. This is where. So when everyone ever says, "How often do you get home?" I usually answer, "Well, every night, because that's where I live." You know, it's a silly question. It's a silly question. And home's where your heart is, where my heart's here as well. You know. So anyhow, So the weather was basically the same. It was sunny, and it was, you know, like low to mid 20s. I did almost nothing, which was great. Because I went with me and my son, and we went to when I go there, I just go to see the local sites. So we got Titchfield Abbey and the village where I grew up, Titchfield, which is built in the Middle Ages. It was in the Domesday books. It's an old village. So we walk around there, stuff that I hated doing as a kid, because we had to do it for school, right?
Isn't that funny?
To learn all the little bits. So that's an insurance plaque. This is Tudor. The tower on the church is Roman. But now I spout it back, and we learned that stuff when I was like 6 or 7. Hated it at the time, and then we go to all the other places. So that was actually quite a nice. I do pretty much do the same thing every time I go over. And then my son's girlfriend joined us about a week later, and then he was off with her up to London, left me to do sweet nothing on my own, which was great. I had hang out with my dad for the day, which is the first time we've done that, I think, in about 30 years, so that was good. So I sat in his workshop while he was doing MOTs on motorbikes, and it was a slow day, so it was good, lots of chat, went out for lunch. So it was a good all-round fun, yeah. And I think the highlight for me, I think, as far as other than the family stuff, which was great, was a show I did actually up near Leeds. Actually, where I've got a picture of that. The poster. Here we go. I do this. Here we go. So that's one I've had this on the show last time, promoting it. So Wakefield, just south of Leeds, which is in Yorkshire, which is a 4.5-hour drive. And I had no idea what to expect, as you know, right? Somebody else had booked the show for me, and I'd looked up Bandwagon and the great. So I spoke to them afterwards, and we're going to hopefully have them on the show as well at some point. Once
Great.
I was just going to get just finally caught up with everything yesterday. I think now was starting to reach out to book some acts. So they're going to be on. So that'll be fun. Hopefully that works out. They're in the UK, so it'll be a late night for them. 8-9 airtime for them, and
we're gonna have to do a home concert here at the castle. I've decided. Let's
do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Like, let's plan
Yeah,
for
so-
November.
And it was kind of a little unnerving because I'd heard them online, their recorded material, which everybody sounds wonderful in their recorded material, but they sounded fantastic live. But there was three of them. There was one of them played bass, one played rhythm guitar. Then they had a cajon, the box with some guy sitting in the box would like act as the drums. I think it's called a cajon, I think. So there's three of them, and then me as a solo act with my one guitar. I was like, oh, I'm going to sound a little empty. As you think, I was like, I should be opening for them. It all turned out well. It ended up being a very intimate room. So it's actually not much different from Joe Black Coffee Bar, if you've been there or if anyone else has been there. It's probably a little bit smaller actually, but it was a bar, lots of drinking going on. The tables were lined up, benches really were lined up in a row, almost theatre seating, and it was packed for most of the night. But it was a bar, so people come in, have a drink, maybe two, listen to 3 or 4 songs and leave. But at the end of every song, I mean, it was like the audience was alive and shouting and cheering, and like a coffee, unlike Joe Black's, which I love playing there as well, where people will go and then back to their conversation, right?
Yeah.
But people were watching and listening, so it was a lot of fun.
That's a great feeling, hey?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I love that feeling.
And I think it's one of my best live performances, in my opinion. Is that, and the reason I think is how we had such a great sound. The speakers it was speakers on a stick, so the speakers were right up here, and I was sitting a little bit in front of them, and they were just balanced so beautifully, and I could hear my guitar and I could hear my voice, so I could hit those powerful high notes, and I could still hear myself, and I could hear the guitar. Whereas usually if I'm in a coffee bar, everything's toned down, and I hit a high note, and I'm like, I hope I'm holding it. And then you back off a little bit, right? But I was able to just give it everything. And yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I walked away.
You know what else I really like? I like this screen right now where I'm above you and I'm kind of looking down.
Looking down. That's what it should be. All right.
Look at that.
That's good. We should keep it like that. No, we won't. All right.
I like that.
Okay, just one more time. There we go.
Right. I'm like the claw.
There we go. Right. Okay, it's getting silly now. We had 100 viewers, but then when we did that, we had like none. They've all... No, just kidding.
Oh, no. I ruined it.
There we are.
That's so funny.
There we are.
Where's Phil? Oh, there's Phil. Phil's back.
Oh, is he back?
He's back.
Unmute yourself, Phil, and say hello.
Hi, Phil.
No, he's not going to unmute himself.
Oh, he's not. He doesn't have his microphone on yet. We're rushing him.
Okay, we're rushing
Sorry,
him.
he's
Okay.
back from a meeting.
Oh, there we go.
I'm back.
Hey, Phil, are you not? Well, we can't let Phil
hang on.
come
I gotta
back
put
without...
my
Hey, well,
headset
Phil,
on.
how
I
in
can't
it?
hear anything.
Hey, Phil, here we go. We got to do your title sequence here.
Oopsies, I skipped
Oopsies.
ahead just a little bit there. Whee! No retakes, no redos.
There we go. Phil's free for all. Okay.
Hey.
Do you have anything
Oh my
planned?
God, I love that. I
That
need
cool?
my own little fucking person.
No, that's your other person.
I am a co-host now.
There you go.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You guys, it's been exciting here for me this summer.
Yep. What have you been to say? Okay, yeah. So we haven't actually spoke for a while. I think it's been a good month. I think since we had a good chat. And I know you've switched radio stations.
Phil?
Something happened with HGB Canada. Yeah. So give us the lowdown. What's going on with the Colorado Phil Show?
Like we've got Canada, U.S., English, but you guys aren't wearing the right T-shirts. Wait.
I'm wearing the show T-shirt. Hey, I don't have boobs, so.
Well, I do, but I'm not going to show them to you. Here we go. Here we go.
There.
I'm not wearing mine now because I'm wearing it tomorrow.
The land of a... Okay, well, Phil got to have his little break, and I haven't stopped talking, so I'm going to just go have my little break while Phil talks now. So if you don't hear from me, you'll know him.
All right.
Okay. Sounds good.
I just want to bring up some stuff that people could check out. Like, well, the station I'm on now, Virtuosity Worldwide.
Which I love, by the way.
Thank you. VW Radio, they're amazing. They're 100% behind the show, behind my ideas and stuff like that. Yesterday, we did the world premiere of a new single by an artist called Pam Taylor.
Okay.
And it's called The Rising Sun. It's a cover. But it was featured in a movie called Fate Alchemy, and it's
Okay.
won a lot of awards. It's actually still on the film circuit. You know the
Yeah. The theater. Is is this like an independent movie or is it a Hollywood
I do
production?
believe so. Yeah.
So yeah, Fate Alchemy.
Yeah. Oh, hey, yesterday I had a lot of people listening in, or yeah, yesterday. It was a lot of people follow her, is what I'll say to that. And then I had the honor and the privilege, and I don't have it on my screen, but I went to a double album release party
Okay.
for a couple of bands that people should check out, like R&B, I suppose. Although I don't like putting labels on stuff. If I like it, I like it. So I'll say I love them. It was Cass Clayton and Carrie Pastine and the Crime Scene. I play them a lot on the show as well. So that was fun. And I did go to A Taste of Colorado, which was great. It's all centered in the downtown Denver by the Capitol building and all that. It looks really cool. I was there for a Remus Tucker band from Denver. It's a kick-ass country band. But Dwight Yoakam was there that night.
Right.
But I never saw him. I don't know where the heck his stage was. But
Right.
it's been an exciting summer, and I'm glad I'm on VW Radio now. I tell you that much. And I was gonna say something else too.
Well,
like,
just for viewers,
I
just for people watching there, if you go to vvradio.co, not .com, and then click on the shows button there at the top, and fills in the list there. I think was it 1 to 5 every day, Mountain Time.
Yeah, I can run through it just like this. It's like
Go
I
do it,
in my
man. Do
sleep.
it.
12 to 4 p.m. Pacific, 1 to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Colorado, 2 to 6 p.m. Central Time in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time out east. Monday through Friday, www.vwradio.co. Really easy. Check out my show page, like Mark was saying. Under the shows tab, click on the Colorado Phil Show, and check out the nice page they made for me. Like there's a picture, a poster from the show, and to the left of that is the player, and we play a lot of Winnipeg music. If there's time later after LUCE comes back, I'll take a little break and look up some of the new Winnipeg bands that I've got on rotation here that are really getting a good reaction, and that's kind of exciting. And I'm also referring, I take music. Mark, you'll know about this, right? The importance of properly labeling music, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so I've been doing the show for almost 3 years. Now, I won't name the station, but the other station let me go for over 2 years. Nobody's music that I played personally from me, nobody got paid for that play. Because of why? I added after the artist name out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and that gets blocked, you know. And the what's it called? The 1/8 of a penny doesn't go to the artist, the royalty. So I'm kind of pissed off about that. But at my new station that I'm at, VW Radio, Colorado Kim has a plan. We're going to try to educate artists about the importance of labeling their music properly so that they get paid, because she pays money to be registered on all the different I don't know what you guys call those.
So what?
What's that?
Isn't that what are you talking about? Are you talking about how you code a CD? From each track has its own individual code that when it gets played, it can be recorded. And you don't have that on your.
See, it's good.
I think it's IFRC.
It's good that you're here, Carrie. LUCE. Oh, she's gonna kill me. Okay, and Mark. No.
Call me David. No, I was kidding.
Because we should arrange to have Colorado Kim, the owner of the station.
Any relation?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, she lives in Colorado. She lives in Grand Junction on the other side of the mountains. But
we should have industry people on that way that can talk.
Because I can't really do it. I play the music, okay? And I was really pissed off when she informed me that everything I played, nobody's been paid. And that pisses me off because that's why I do it. And it turns out that's why she started her station. because and
Right.
she
Well,
pays
then
the companies or whatever. And we're gonna start soon an education campaign. So I think we should have her on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
I'll try to talk her into it. She's not a big camera person, but
You know what? We if that's a real problem, we can do what we did with Roberts in February. I think he didn't have a camera, so we just put a picture of him up. So if she wants to
there
do
you
that,
go, yeah.
we can do that too. So there's ways around that if there's
that'll work.
yeah. So there are ways
Because I mean,
around
I'm serious. Like, I know about it a bit, but I didn't know that me just because she liked that when I started at her station.
Yep.
She loved that because it shows up on our app.
Yep.
You know, and people dig that, knowing where the artist is from. But now every day I load every song and I take out of.
Yep.
But I'm finding too many artists don't even have the album title. You know, all this properly done. Like, so yeah, we got.
In encoding a CD properly, there's the name of the track, there's the name of your band, there's the track code, there's the tracking code for royalties. There's a lot of things that go.
Yeah, and we're both passionate about that. Well, Luce is passionate about it too.
We'd like to get paid.
On the spine, it to be a certain way. There's lots of little intricacies to have it done properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. It's good, and we want to educate people, so it'd be good with Luce to. You know, you guys are in Manitoba, so maybe Manitoba artists will start paying attention because I've got a lot of new artists, but I'm going to let you guys talk and I'm going to find them so I can give them a shout out
sounds good.
before we stop.
We that's a good point. You know, when it comes, like, we are trying to help Manitoba artists and we are trying to help Canadian artists in a couple ways, of course, with the movie that Ken Loxton just produced and put out called Canadian Homegrown, which I believe is being turned into a series that will highlight Canadian homegrown music. And, you know, part of that series was really about asking the questions like, what's happened in our music industry, in live music in the past, like 20 years? How has it changed? What's happening now that hinders us? What has helped us? How can we band together and create something better for Canadian artists, local Manitoba artists? You know, we do have things put into place that then it's not helping anybody. It only helps the people that work for the organizations, to be honest. It's not a complaint. It's just the way it is. Sometimes that's what happens. But there's not been a lot of forum, radio, video, or otherwise for local Canadian music. And, you know, you remember back in the radio days in the 60s and the 70s and even into the 80s, CanCon was like, Canadian content was uber important in the country. Canadian artists were always, I know all the bands from the 60s and 70s and the 80s, even, like, how you know them all because that's what got favored in our country first, and then everything else came out as well. It's not like we were missing on international music, but we got dedicated time and people respected that. And, you know, it's not a political rant either, but you get into certain conservative governments and they don't support these kinds of things, and little by little that gets weeded away. And I don't hear much Canadian on any radio stations, to be honest, like not the same way. So it would be wonderful to have something focused and balanced for Canadian musicians. Why not? We're Canada. It's not like we're not trying to have a disadvantage. We're just trying to have an equal advantage, you know? So I hope that out of Ken's questioning and talking to the bands, and I'll tell you, the bands in that first pilot that we did, I mean, Load included, but I'm in awe of the other bands we played with, amazing talent in Canada. There should be more focus on helping us.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I've reached out a couple of times to, I think, Manitoba Music, and they've been helpful on some areas, not so much on others.
They've never been helpful to us, not once.
Yeah,
and just most recently, I was so disappointed in, you know, we're a Manitoba band, and we've been a part of Manitoba Film and Sound for a long time, and then Manitoba Music we were, and I guess we let something lapse and we're not on the calendar for them anymore, you know, and we're not allowed to be involved in any Manitoba music projects this year. And like Load's been a Manitoba projects since 1996. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
You know, let us pay our fee, or, you know, let us get in. But we've been treated very poorly, I believe, by the people in Manitoba music. So that's, you know, and it's not sour grapes. It's the luck of the draw. It's rules how it is. It's real life. You know, musicians struggle. Manitoba musicians don't have it easy. You know, they have real lives and things that interfere. And what you would like to see is people like Manitoba Music help musicians and acts, not just be there for no reason. To call yourself Manitoba Music. And that's the problem in our industry right now, is that there's a lot of people who just say that they're there and they collect either money from the government or they've created a job, but they're not really helping the people, they're helping themselves. Right. So you are amazing in helping people. Phil, dedicated to helping people. So many people here coming together that it's like, well, I guess we were waiting to have other people look after us or take care of our best interests, and then we realize, well, there is no other person better than us. So let's come together. So
for sure.
Some people think it's a bitch, right? Like it's a gripe, but it's not. It's a way to recognize a few faults and a few people taking advantage of musicians and their authority in this matter, and the good people will rise up and control of that. And I think Manitoba Music, as not the organization, but Manitoba musicians, have a great opportunity to lead this country in the best music. And that.
Hey, you know what? I talked to Kim already at the station about this, and she said if I come up with an idea of some kind to promote Manitoba music, especially during that battle thing, something permanent on my actual station page. So we'll be doing that, like.
See, the question, the question is, why are we doing something for Manitoba music? And Manitoba music isn't doing anything for Manitoba. You understand what I'm saying? Why?
I do.
When there's supposed to be an organization being thoughtful and provocative and forward thinking, that we should be doing like great things with music. We should be. I believe they collect fees.
Oh yeah.
Okay, to be a part of their organization, and let's collect fees and do something other than just pay for those jobs. Let's actually promote music. Let's do something.
Actually, Shalim has asked. Shalim has actually made us. So just to interrupt, Shalim is just made a statement there. So hi Shalim, thanks for joining us. He says, I wonder if because there are so many choice for entertainment that it's harder to grow a local scene. This is happening at the same time that there are more artists making music and releasing products than ever before. Yeah, so I think that's a yes. And it does go to your point. It does go to your point. I think
a lot of people are just like automatically they turn on the radio in the car and it's either AM or FM or whatever, right? Whatever's there. They have no idea what's in their own backyards.
Yeah.
Well, and then in the documentary we tried to ask, well, why? I mean, it started when laws changed for smoking in clubs, for certain and drinking and driving laws and things. And I'm not complaining. I'm not saying those are a bad thing, but they certainly were the first step to the downfall of live music in a lot of establishments, because the rules changed and people that want to enjoy certain things can't when they're out spending their own money, and they want, what can you say? So there was that. And then something happened in the industry with the bars where bands used to be coveted and you'd want to have a band play for a week.
Right, yeah.
That band would make enough money in that week that they could all live, pay their mortgage, pay their food. If they had a family, it was okay. And if they didn't, they could do whatever the hell they wanted. It was a good life. And then something just happened where, well, the laws changed for people enjoying themselves in bars. That's what happened. And then owners of bars and clubs became like they were the prestigious ones, and that the band had to bring all these people to their restaurant. They expected the band to provide the restaurant or the bar with patrons. And then if that didn't work out, because maybe money, the people ask too much money for that. You know, you want to bring a big following. There's
Yeah. But the other thing that I personally notice is that in a lot of bars, whatever restaurants, where there could easily be live music, they're playing mainstream stuff. You know, so people really don't know. But if people would take the Colorado Phil Show challenge, like for example, yesterday's show, if they forced themselves to listen to the whole 4 hours and just leave their mind open, they wouldn't know they weren't listening to mainstream artists.
They'd hear amazing music. They just
exactly.
They're used to, but they would become used to it because if you hear it 3 or 4 times, it becomes mainstream to you.
Yep.
And that's what's missing. Like that's the thing. So now I do believe that in Winnipeg, 97 Rock has a program on Mondays called it's not Manitoba Mondays, Mandatory Monday maybe, or Mandatory Manitoba. God forbid. I'm sorry that I don't have it down. But I don't know if it was from the documentary, but the timing is very suspect that right after the documentary, the radio program started happening. So I haven't heard that loads on it yet.
Hey, before we end, I want to shout out to some new Winnipeg bands that I have on rotation. And I want to add that when people are emailing me music direct, I respond every time. And I ask them to go to our website, which we can give out later, and submit their music there for general rotation. Because then the way she has it set up, I'm pretty sure it'll be foolproof. You know, if you're registered, if your music is registered, however that works there.
Yeah.
And then they play it, and whatever comes to you kind of thing. But it's all in the mind. Load.
Yes.
But I got some brand new bands like Chronic Pain, Amadians. I think you say Amadians, Amadians. Johnny Langan, the Jerry Hattricks, Black Eyed Susie, Turner Phrase, J.C. Campbell, and the Mariachi Ghost, and I'm forgetting some.
You know, Load Mariachi Ghost a few times. There's exquisite band.
Oh, yesterday I opened the show with a song from Playing as Ghosts. I forget the title of it. It fucking kicks ass.
I told you.
It's got a little bit of hip hop in there. Yeah. It gives me goosebumps now. Woo.
I'm glad. No, I like that too. You know, and honestly, I can say this. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, or if I'm admitting something. You know, I write music. We've released 4 CDs and Load, and performed and worked in a lot of film and video. And so, like, sometimes, you know, and maybe you both can attest to this, when you are writing music, you're not necessarily listening to music. Now, maybe some other people are. I guess I listen to music, I get inspired, and then I'm writing music, and then I'm not listening to music. And so I've been writing an album for the last 3 years, and I didn't know some of these. And also I travel a lot, and I have 3 children, and I live in 2 countries. So I actually listen to a lot more music when I'm in Mexico than, because my lifestyle is different than when I'm in Canada. Mm-hmm. And so I get a little bit behind on the Canadian and North American scene, but I'm like right up there on like all the Latino and cool hip hop and stuff from down there. And so, you know, these things open my mind too, to make sure that I support Canadian music, not just myself. Like I demand that from the public, and I have to make sure I do it myself too, you know? And so like, I was so blessed to just get to see some great Canadian and Manitoba acts over the last 6 months, doing this video and working with you guys, and just having and also my kids are a little older, so I can actually go out, not just to perform, not just do my stuff, but I get to actually have some time. Right. And that's like, you know, how life gets in the way, and then timing changes. So there's just amazing musicians in this province. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I think they deserve us talking about them. And Phil, you're amazing. And Mark, honestly, the work you guys are doing are great. Thank you so much on behalf of everybody.
It's so much fun.
And we do it because we love it.
Yeah.
Okay, actually,
and I've been getting,
just keeping an eye on the time here, Luce.
I've been getting compliments about the battle hour that I do about Manitoba music.
I love your battle hour 204. I'm like, and you know, the shitty thing about Facebook is that I don't like, I don't always get notified, and
Yeah.
I'm not there always looking, right? Because you big list of followers, and you all of a sudden you get posts that you weren't expecting, and you miss the ones that you are. But every time I see those 204, you post them to me, I just laugh. I just love that. You are so funny to do that, and it's always like 204 against the Colorado, and
Yeah.
we're awesome.
Hey, but you know what? It's getting traction even here. And like when we went to the double album release for Cass Clayton and Kerry Pastine in the crime scene, a young guy that works there said, he was super busy. He said, "Excuse me, are you Colorado Phil?" And I said, yeah, I am. And he had to go. But he said, he was like, oh my gosh, this is happening more in the local scene. And I love that. And I'm getting messages from Winnipeg people like, right on, I love how you're doing this. And I don't deny it. I'm like a walking megaphone. I mean, seriously.
Well, let's find a way to be able to at least put your 204 challenge on the Load TV channel. I'm working that out.
Yeah,
Start doing it. Men, I'm going to make my exit.
Yep.
As
I
always,
was just going to close up. Let's close up
nice
now.
to see you.
So, we got so anyone that's interested there can contact LUCE, luceoverload@gmail. luceoverload.com is the web address, and of course you can check out the new CD as well, or Load's new CD as well, and of course on Facebook as well.
Hey, who's that?
That was Kat. Kat
That
just
was my so. Hi.
And you can get me and Phil on Twitter. That's if I read it from bottom up. You're already watching on Facebook if you're watching this live, but the Colorado Phil show is where the mainstream goes out. You can catch Phil on the www.vradio.ca. Sorry, .co, not C-A-C-O. And all the news about The Invisible Man, you can just check out our website, www.theinvisibleman.ca. So let's get back. Okay, and that's we're done as well.
Woohoo!
So we will just say thanks for everyone, and we will catch you in a couple of weeks. We'll have Ken Loxton on the 12th. It's going to be a lot of fun, and then we'll do lots of promotion on that as well.
I'm going to be on the sidelines for that one, don't you forget.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and bye. Have a good one.
Oh.